I need to time that a little bit better. Crazy. All right. After being pecked by a radioactive bird, mild-mannered Tuthill was compelled to become Kinneas, the Skydude. So, episode number 252. And yesterday we did an aerial spraying, and though the pay is incredibly good, I needed something a little bit more relaxing today. And I've got Bushtalk radio loaded. Now, I can't tell you what we're going to run into on the way. It's always kind of a surprise. And normally, doing the career stuff, I'm just kind of following the path and letting it do what doing what it wants. So, flying the flight plan. And today, if there are any cool points of interest nearby, I'll be doing a little deviating. So I was looking at the METAR weather across the United States, and there's this big swath of angry wind to our east that we might actually run into a little bit of. It does seem pretty windy out there. Yeah, just standing right here. The propeller's turning. The little ribbons are flying everywhere. So yeah, wind could be a factor today. Another thing I need to be careful of is this thing, and maybe it's just 2024 and it's the realistic settings. So I've got everything to real because, what's the point of trying to learn if you can't set it to as real as you can get it? But I'm noticing that I've been having a lot of problems with, a lot of things lately, and maybe just not used to it. The way it's handling the physics and everything, but landing has been problematic. So I've got to be really careful, especially this thing. I've just really never had any problems landing the Caravan in the past. And lately she's kind of a cow, and she doesn't want to come down, and she doesn't want to land. She's just, the behavior is a little bit odd. So I've got to be extra careful today on the landing.
Good afternoon, Captain.
Yeah, good afternoon to you too.
Today. Love this city.
Grant, Iowa. Yeah, we're going from the corner of Wyoming into Iowa. You wonder where we're at? So again, I couldn't tell you what's coming up right off the bat. Once we get into the air and get going, I'll pull up Bushtalk. It's already on.
Our skids are built to handle turbulence, but maintain a constant flight speed. Let's keep our delivery on time.
Sorry, you might be hearing an echo. Let me fix that. So in OBS, because I am running a Bushtalk, and then there's the simulator going, and then I'm talking, I've had to learn how to create new audio channels and try to split everything up, so that when one thing is playing, it's not completely conflicting with another. Or when I'm talking, I'm able to be heard over whatever. So, 1,700 pounds.
Whiskey Yankee 1 traffic in Lima Sierra Alpha 9er is taxiing to runway 15.
I need to see if R is connected to something else, because when I pressed R there, the engine just really sped up. So that's freaking me out. So let me just do a quick search. Oh, wrong device. Yeah, increased throttle. So that's kicking in. The controls have been buggy bad. You create a profile. What's the point of creating a profile if it's not holding the settings? A lot of these settings, once I go in and change them, create a new profile. We should already have one for the Caravan. It's not pulled up. No, this is keyboard. Quick reply. Good. So some of the settings, like I'll be working on helicopter settings and I'll save them, and then I go to fly like the Caravan, and now some of the things that I've changed control-wise are now have cross-pollinated over into my Caravan settings, things like that. And what's the point of having all these profiles if it's not saving the proper profile? So that's kind of been We'll let the engine spool down for a minute. I think it was like applied emergency power or something. Somebody in the forum today was commenting that they've been having trouble taxiing this thing. And one of the pilots in the forum said, hey, when you're taxiing, you probably don't want to have this up all the way. It might be a little bit too much power. You can also pull back the propeller. Let's get the inertial separator open. And let's get some lights on. Get rid of that yoke. Seatbelts on, cabin light on. You can smoke if you want. Strobe nav beacon. Might as well turn on the landing lights and taxi light. Okay. I wonder if that's the wind moving us. She's got enough power to just start moving on her own. I'm in idle, but she's wanting to crawl forward. This is Wyoming, all right. What I'm used to.
Whiskey Yankee 1 traffic in Lima Sierra Alpha 9er, taking off runway 15 departure to the east.
So I was, I would say fortunate enough. Anytime you get a chance to potentially live someplace else, it's usually more of a good thing than not. But I had the good fortune to live in Wyoming for a very small period of time when I was a little kid, second grade. Not everything about it was wonderful. But overall, it was a fun place to live. I don't know who you're calling, why you're calling me. Oh, they want us to go down there and turn around? They've been doing that a lot lately. Sending us down to the other ends and... I think I have a spring problem in my joystick, but also other people reporting since this update 1 a heavy pull to the right like that. So let me take my hand off, let me get straight, and then take my hand off the joystick. Every couple of seconds she starts pulling, and then she'll do a heavy pull. Not so heavy, but Check out that windsock. Hello, Henning. How are you? Henning's in the chat room. You had, he just had wisdom tooth surgery. 7 syringes in your mouth, 2 hours of pain, and you witnessed it all. Ah. At least you were able to skip a couple of days of school. Yeah, you're going to need it. I hope you're feeling fine now. That's got to be horrible. All right, Iowa, here we come. Again, once we get up into the air, I'll open up Bushtalk Radio, and we'll see if there's anything interesting around here to go check out. The wobble on the planes like this, where you're traveling around, the wobble like that. I'm not used to that at all. That seems new. And in some cases, when you're moving down the runway,
rotate.
Like the whole fuselage. Easy. Like the whole fuselage. Oh my lord. What in the hell? Well, that's typical.
Don't sing. Don't sing.
I can't believe it. Already, great. So yeah, the whole fuselage, wobbling back and forth like a weeble. Just typical. Love the snow.
Alpha 9er radar contact 3 miles southeast of Whiskey Yankee 119,000 feet altimeter 29er 55.
29er 55.
Center Kin Lima Sierra Alpha 9er 3 miles southeast of Whiskey Yankee 1.
I'm acknowledging it right now, and then I got a penalty for not acknowledging it.
Foxtrot Whiskey ready to copy.
Oh, this sim.
Lima Sierra Alpha 9er is cleared to Kilo Echo Foxtrot Whiskey Airport as filed. Squawk 676 tree.
Kin Lima Sierra Alpha and 9 are cleared to Kilo Echo Foxtrot Whiskey Airport as filed. Squawk 676 tree.
Kin Lima Sierra Alpha 9er read back correct. Radar contact 9,600 feet altimeter 29er. 55 turn left heading 080 resume on navigation climb and maintain 11,000 feet.
255, what was it?
Left heading 080 resume, own navigation climb, and maintain 11,000 foot Kin.
2955?
Alpha 9er.
2955. Okay.
10,000 feet.
We need 11.
$10,000 feet. 10,000 feet.
Okay, we got it. We got it. We got it. Okay. So we're on nav at the moment, climbing to 11,000 feet. And okay, here is where we are in the world. So you see we're at the corner of Wyoming here. Cheyenne, Laramie and Cheyenne are ahead. And then right over here is Iowa. Okay, so what do we got over here? We have Savage Run Wilderness, which is a little obscured at the moment because of the snow and the fog. But over here, the V-Bar Ranch Lodge. Okay, that's not something I really want to fly to, but we'll listen to it.
The V-Bar Ranch Lodge was built in 1891 as the home of Lionel C.G. Sartoris, a prominent Wyoming rancher. The ranch was later owned by Luther Fillmore, a Union Pacific Railroad official, and the Wright family, who operated the ranch as a dude ranch.
Oh my lord.
It comprises 5 historic buildings including
Kin Lima Sierra Alpha Niner Denver Center altimeter 29er. For Niner radar contact, continue to Banna.
Getting a little ice on the windshield. I stopped the audio because of the dang air traffic control chat.
the lodge, original corral and a stock chute. Sartoris bought the V-Bar lands from homesteader Theodore Brubaker in 1890. Sartoris was English in origin, and a partner in the Douglas Williams Sartoris Cattle Company, which in 1885 was worth an estimated $2 million. By 1892 the company had failed. Sartoris departed for South America and the ranch was taken over by Susan J. Fillmore, who from 1903 leased it to Gordon and Myra Wright. In 1911 the Wrights bought the ranch, adding a second floor to the lodge. Dude ranching began in 1912 to supplement income. The ranch is situated in a bend of the Little Laramie River with 5 contributing buildings and supporting ranch structures. The original log lodge was built by the Fillmores in 1901 and expanded in 1911. A modern addition dates to 1975. The V-Bar was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1986. It continues in operation as a guest ranch.
The Dude Ranch, huh? All right. Yeah, gonna be a little bit tricky. I am gonna deviate to the north, and we're gonna fly to Laramie. So let me get our heading. And it's about... That's 90, probably about 45. All right, we'll change the heading. Start turning that way a little bit. Get the separator in. So, I don't know if you're still there, Henning, but how long do they say it will take you to, you know, how long is your recovery time, and when will you be able to fly again? And we're getting bounced around. 30, I told you the winds were going to be heavy. We were flying into some wicked winds. 30 knot wind gusts. Boy, this is insane. All right, let's deviate a little bit more to... Oh boy. So down here off our starboard side, we should be following a river. There's a Overland Trail Ranch, is a complex 7 ranch buildings at the crossing of the Big Laramie River by the Overland Trail. So following this river over here off to the side, this was a big Overland Trail, east-west.
Richardson's Overland Trail Ranch is a complex of 7 ranch buildings at the crossing of the Big Laramie River by the Overland Trail. The ranch's main residence was built as a stage station for the trail in 1862. A corduroy road was built at the same time. By 1864, ranching became established around the stage station, primarily by Tom Alsop, Edward Creighton, and Charlie Hutton. With Creighton's death in 1874, the land was divided between Alsop on the west side of the river and Hutton on the east side. The ranch on the west side became known as the Hart or Hart Ranch. The ranches at the river crossing became part of the larger Riverside Livestock Company. At the beginning of the 20th century, the stage station at the Hart Ranch was sold to D.C. Buntin and James Caldwell, who started a polar pony breeding operation and added buildings. Caldwell committed suicide in the wake of the Teapot Dome scandal and the ranch was sold. Otto Clausen initially operated the ranch as a dude ranch from 1929, but the Great Depression reduced operations to subsistence farming. Clausen sold to T.H. and Ella Verkeldsen in 1944, who managed the ranch until they passed it on to their daughter Marge and her husband T.H. Richardson in 1974.
So that's some ranches that are down there just somewhere, a little too high to see them at the moment. You can't come down, it's not a big deal, but I don't want to mess with ATC. Man, these winds. Woo! I was going to say, I didn't want to do something that would make me as dizzy as yesterday, and these winds. Insane. So we're headed towards Laramie, Wyoming. Been there in the past. Some pretty crazy, one night of crazy adventure in Laramie. Probably not best repeated on this live stream. But we'll be hitting Laramie in, I don't know, a couple of minutes. Wow. Yeah, I got a lot of rain coming down over there. So I'm using, if you're wondering where the audio tour stuff is coming from, it's an app called Bushtalk Radio. And it's free and relatively painless to install in your community folder to get running for 2024. And it's called Bushtalk Radio because it's one of its main functions is to allow you to listen to any radio station that you're traveling near.
Richardson's Overland Trail Ranch is a complex of 7 ranch buildings.
The audio tours are just like the icing on the cake. But doing live streams, you're without the proper licenses and you can't really play that stuff because of copyrights and yada yada yada. And I wish that weren't the case because it's so cool. Maybe not so cool in the United States, but when you're traveling abroad, listening to stuff you never heard before, it's pretty interesting. So, as I'm looking ahead, and we're going to be passing over it here in just a minute. This is Laramie, Wyoming, right here. But it's got on the map, it's got a radio station flagged, and it's the Jazz Wyoming station, and I'm going to click it for like 30 seconds. Isn't that great? So, I mean, if I wasn't live streaming, it's so awesome to have. So let me hit the radio button and it should do a scan. So that's that jazz station again. Loudspeaker 1, an indie channel. KDGO.
The expected splashdown and hopefully the return of these stranded space station astronauts.
Sounds like Hannity.
Just before 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. on the West Coast.
Let me pause that because here's the play. Oh no, there's a war memorial. Oh, War Memorial Stadium.
War Memorial Stadium, also known as Jonah Field at War Memorial Stadium, is an outdoor college football stadium on the campus of the University of Wyoming in Laramie. It is the home field of the Wyoming Cowboys of the Mountain West Conference. It is the largest stadium in the state, and the only college football venue in the state. The field is named after a natural gas field at the Green River Basin in Sublette County. At an elevation of 7,215 feet above sea level, War Memorial Stadium is the highest Division I FBS college football stadium in the United States, followed by the Air Force Academy's Falcon Stadium at 6,621 feet.
They're right here on Durango's News Talk station, KDGO.
As families and individuals navigate the aging process, it can be overwhelming to navigate the choices, understand the services available.
I think that was it. So on playback, you might not be hearing anything. I might have to have gone in there and muted those little things out if it flags them, which it probably will. The community flying we did the other day, it flagged it. Thankfully, YouTube, what I got to give it credit. It's not the greatest video editor on YouTube, and I really don't understand that. Why YouTube doesn't have like the greatest video editing tools for people to use. But it's the AI is so good about catching any music in it and flagging you for copyright violations. And the folks over there at Microsoft to do the community fly-ins, their music is copyright protected for them to do their live stream, but it's not copyright protected for anybody else. And so it flagged me for all the music that they played in the background. But YouTube's got this feature that you can have it try to mute all the music. And again, I have to give credit to the AI on YouTube for its ability to mute the music without muting anything else. And that is downright impressive. All right, let me try to get us back on course a little bit. Let me look at the map ahead. Yeah, I need to turn south so we head into Cheyenne, Wyoming. And I should probably try to come down. It's just too dang windy. Wow, even getting my hand on this heading switch over here and keeping my hand on it. So we need to go about 150 degrees, 120 to 150. Let's do 120. That should take us right to Cheyenne. And I don't know if I need to do a, if I can request an altitude decrease, maybe by 1,000 feet or so.
Denver Center Kin, Lima Sierra Alpha Niner. Request 10,000 feet.
All right, so we got approved for 10.
Maintain 10,000 foot Kin, Lima Sierra Alpha Niner.
All right, flight level changed. Let me pull back the throttle a little bit so it'll start going down. Slow down, slow down. All right, let me pull back a couple of degrees on the heading. Be in the ballpark. Oh, say, okay, so coming up here, we have a bunch of little point of...
Lima Sierra Alpha Niner, please expedite your descent 10,000 feet.
Yeah, I'm getting there. What's the hurry? So here we are. Again, it's just a minute or two away from Cheyenne. See us clipping along pretty good. So these are the things that are available that we're coming up on. A supercomputing center? NCAR Wyoming Supercomputing Center. I've never heard of that before.
The NCAR Wyoming Supercomputing Center is a high-performance computing and data archival facility located in Cheyenne, Wyoming that provides advanced computing services to researchers in the Earth System Sciences.
Wow.
NWSC provides researchers' needs for computing, data analysis, and scientific visualization resources combined with powerful data management capabilities to support finer Earth system model resolution, increased model complexity, better statistics, more predictive power, and longer simulation times. The data storage and archival facility at NWSC holds unique historical climate records and a wealth of other scientific data. Scientists at U.S. universities and research institutions access NWSC resources remotely via the internet from desktop or laptop computers.
And then also an Air Force base up here.
Fort T.A. Russell, also known as Fort Francis E. Warren, Francis E. Warren Air Force Base and Fort David A. Russell, was a post and base of operations for the United States Army, and later the Air Force, located in Cheyenne, Wyoming. The fort had been established in 1867 to protect workers for the Union Pacific Railroad. It was named in honor of David Allen Russell, a Civil War general killed at the Battle of Opequon. In 1930, the fort's name was changed to Fort Francis E. Warren. In 1949, it became Francis E. Warren Air Force Base. Over the years, The base served as home for numerous influential American military leaders such as Carl Spaatz, Black Jack Pershing, Billy Mitchell, Walter Reed, and Mark Clark. A portion of the base was designated a National Historic Landmark District in 1975 for distinctively preserving many of the stages of its evolution from a frontier cavalry base to an Air Force base.
Denver Center Kin, Lima Sierra Alpha Niner. Request 9,000 feet.
Kin Lima Sierra Alpha Niner descend and maintain 9,000 feet.
Excellent.
Kin Lima Sierra Alpha Niner, did you hear my last transmission?
Sure did.
Descend and maintain 9,000 foot Kin, Lima Sierra Alpha Niner.
There we go. Turn to the east a little bit. Easy, easy. And I should line us up right into Cheyenne. So that supercomputing center, that's probably it right there. Out there. Yikes. I'm getting dizzy. And the Air Force Base stuff is over here. All right, what else do we have in Cheyenne?
Kin Lima Sierra Alpha Niner, please expedite your descent 9,000 feet.
The Wyoming State Capitol is here.
The Wyoming State Capitol is the state capital and seat of government of the U.S. state of Wyoming. Built between 1886 and 1890, the Capitol is located in Cheyenne and contains the chambers of the Wyoming State Legislature as well as the office of the Governor of Wyoming. It was designated a U.S. National Historic Landmark in 1987. The Capitol underwent an extensive 3-year renovation and reopened to the public on July 10, 2019. The construction of the Capitol began prior to Wyoming gaining statehood. Cheyenne was born in 1867 in the path of the Transcontinental Railroad, when the Union Pacific crews arrived to lay tracks westward. Cheyenne soon laid claim to a higher status than older Wyoming settlements such as those at Fort Laramie, Fort Bridger, and the mining town of South Parr City, changing Cheyenne from a village to a city in a matter of months. The seat of the new territorial government was established in Cheyenne in 1869. In 1886, the 9th Territorial Legislative Assembly authorized construction of the state capitol. A 5-member commission, appointed by Governor Francis E. Warren, was charged with the selection and purchase of the site, selection of an architect and accepting the lowest bids for construction of the building. The commission chose the firm of David W. Gibbs and Company, architects, to draw plans and specifications. These were accepted in July 1886 and a contract issued to the lowest bidder, Adam Fike and Brothers, who broke ground on September 9, 1886. The 10th Territorial Legislative Assembly convened in the unfinished building. The 2 small wings on the east and west were completed in 1890. Crowded conditions persisted with the growth of the state, and in 1915 the 13th Legislature approved the construction of the House and Senate chambers, which were completed in March 1917. The 42nd Legislature in 1974 appropriated funds for the first phase of renovation of the Capitol, and the project was completed in 1980. Work included stripping and staining all woodwork, painting walls in the original designs and colors, replacing wooden floor beams with steel, concrete, and modernizing the wiring, heating, plumbing, and air conditioning. In 2013, the Wyoming State Legislature created a task force to examine potential renovations to the building. The legislature authorized the renovation project in 2014, with work on the Capitol, the Hirschler Building, the utility plant and the tunnels to be completed as a unified project with a budget of $299 million.
All right. So there really isn't much, as if we just keep flying this direction, which we need to keep going, in a straight line there really isn't much. But out here to the plains, the only thing that's catching my eye is that the Pawnee Indian used to, they call it out there the Pawnee Plain. And let's see. So in just a few minutes, we're going to be passing into Iowa and Scotts Bluff. That's going to be way up to the north. What is that? Scotts Bluff National Monument. So here we are down here. I don't know what capture the flag is. I'm going to have to look into that. So I was talking about the Pawnee Plain stuff out here. None of that other stuff is really anything of interest. The state line and then Scotts Bluff up here. Wildcat Hills. Are we in Nebraska? I don't know my geography. Oh, so this is Nebraska? Let me see here. All right, so we've got, I didn't realize we had to cross. I should have known, but I wasn't really paying attention. We've got to cross all of Nebraska. What is this? Chimney Rock National Historic Site. We've been there before. We've got another radio station out here, streamingsoundtracks.com. I don't hear it. It was interesting to learn about that supercomputer center. Just out there in the middle of nowhere in Wyoming. The Battle of Ash Hollow. That's going to be on our way. Yeah. Let me add in a couple of degrees of course correction. And we should be lined up for that one. Start with 5 degrees or so.
Denver Center Kin, Lima Sierra Alpha Niner. Request 8,000 feet. Kin, Lima Sierra Alpha Niner descend. Maintain 8,000 feet. descend and maintain 8,000-foot kin, Lima Sierra Alpha Niner.
Nah, the plane will get there when it gets there. Not gonna expedite Jack. I've been watching the program Suits on Netflix, and I guess it came out in like 2008 or earlier, and never heard about it, never, and I've been seeing it on Netflix for a long time, but just nothing I was really terribly interested in. But you start running out of things to watch, and you're like, I need something to just marathon for a bit. So I put it on, and I really like it. It's a really good show. But like shows like that, where, it's fictional, but at the same time, I mean, it's very well written, and it's definitely written from people who know that world. Because, you can't do a whole lot of fibbing when you're dealing with laws but just like other programs, like one was dealing with like the CIA recently, and everybody is neurotic because of all the rules, and you can't talk about this and you can't talk about that, and you can't, how dare you talk about that, and you can't talk about that. And so everybody's always on pins and needles, and everybody's neurotic. And pretty much they're all a-holes. Like, huge. And I've always appreciated lawyers somewhat. I kind of thought I might want to be one growing up. But a lot of these characters too, everybody in that world too. And all the power to do all the shady stuff they want to do, because very few other people, average people, understand any of it. It's only, other people that work in law that, do that. And so I've got a new respect and a new loathing after watching Suits this week. I'm on season 3, I think, already. So again, I know it is not a probably not based on real life. We're out of our... Slow down a little bit more. It didn't want to descend. So I know it's not based on probably real life. Could be, who knows? Based on things that have gone on. But there's always a truth to it somewhere. So yeah, I mean, when you realize that, again, because that's the world that they live in, they know how to, they have the ability and knowledge to abuse everything. Hey, you do this and you do that and you do this and you don't pay any taxes anymore. hey, I'm your lawyer. You better believe I'm going to make sure that da-da-da-da-da, and we're going to offshore this and offshore that, and, you know. So it's so easy when you look at the world we're in today and the things that are going on, that are seemingly going on in the halls of government, with people saying, hey, we better take a look at that. And hey, you know, what's going on over here? And just the
Lima Sierra Alpha 9er, please expedite your descent 8,000 feet.
Going down. The legal Leviathan that it is. And it is. It's a Leviathan at this point. There's a rule and a law for everything. And a loophole. Or at least a really good argument. It's really easy to see how legalized organized crime coming down.
Sierra Alpha 9er, please expedite your descent 8,000 feet.
All right. I don't want to. Hey, if I'm not following you, if I am not following you and you need a follower, please make sure you stop in and say hi in the chat room. And I can immediately go to your channel and subscribe and take care of that right away. Thank you for tuning in, by the way. I hope you're having a great day. These winds have been crazy. Coming down has helped. I mean, just up 3,000 more feet. Man, I was getting kind of queasy. But seems like it's not so bad down here. What are we still dealing with? Yeah, we're in the 9s and 10s. It was 25 and 30 up there. This is much, much, much more easy to deal with. Put us on nav. Maybe? Nav. There we go. It might not take it. Let me put it at the CDI to GPS. And we might have to have it pick a point. Enter. There we go. No, we're still in heading mode. Nav. Why aren't you clicking in there, pal of mine? Okay. Easy, take it easy. They need the Garmin Grandma GPS. You know, where it doesn't make any sudden moves. It just doesn't. It does everything as it turns as slow as possible. It just won't do anything extreme whatsoever. The Garmin Grandma G, that's what the G is for. The Grandma 4000. wouldn't make a turn like that. So we should be in Nebraska now and making our way across Nebraska. Let's get our location here. It blew out our map. There we go. Oh, we're on nav. It's got us cutting back down into Kansas. No, we're back into Colorado. But we are going to Iowa. KEFW. So this is the Pawnee Plains out here to our starboard side. That's been our luck recently with flying with Bushtalk on. Hit a couple of things, but for the most part, nothing along the way. What is this up here? Yeah, the Battle of Ash Hollow. That won't take us too far off course. Oh, look at that lovely rainbow. Picture of that. Oh, a double rainbow. Let me put it back on heading. Yeah, the Grandma 4000 wouldn't do that. The Grandma 4000 wouldn't make a turn like this. That's more like it. Just I forgot to put the throttle back in after that descent. So we can come down more.
Denver Center Kin, Lima Sierra Alpha 9er. Request 7,000 feet. Kin Lima Sierra Alpha 9er, request 9.
Request denied. All right, that's cool. So we're heading towards an area where there was a battle. Cowboys and Indians. And either that's a cloud or there's a big lake up ahead. Go a couple more degrees over. All right, so we're shooting for that. So according to the METAR, straight ahead of us and cutting up north, it's kind of on a northeasterly slant. There's this huge area of very high, strong winds, and we're kind of heading right into it. We've already experienced some of it at a higher altitude. You can see the plane bouncing around here. But according to the METAR, the further we go east, the worse it has the potential to be. So that could be interesting. It's a huge swath covering several states. Man, I feel bad for Henny. He's very up-spirited about it. I mean, he seemed in good spirits. He just had some wisdom teeth worked on, and I can't even imagine how crappy that's got to feel. There are a lot of new things available in the marketplace under the World tab today. And I didn't check the aircrafts tab. I'm sure there's probably some more stuff there. Some of the areas are still a little bit empty. But some of the things that are attracting me, although I wish they were part of the base game, but they're not very expensive, but times are really tough right at the moment. Things like enhanced weather. And personally, I feel that Asobo should have just bought that, or should just buy that and add it to the base game. They should already be providing us the most advanced, enhanced weather there is. And then they have birds, but it's like every single region. Like if you want the birds, you're going to have to buy every bird pack, and it's starting to get a little bit like Electronic Arts and The Sims. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, they nickel and dime you for everything. So this is supposed to be state of the art. So things that should be, in my opinion, part of the base sim, especially for 2024. Asobo should already include that. All these animals, the birds, that's it. It's ridiculous, I think, having to buy all the birds for every single region. Now, again, I understand the argument that, well, people need to make money. Yeah. But, and they have included a lot of animals from all the animals from Planet Zoo. So why couldn't they just get all the birds too? And there should just be a grand unified package too, at least. Like all the birds. Here, just one bird package. I don't want to have to order 15, 20 different bird packages. It's a little bit goofy. Things like airports and, larger things. I guess, I mean, I understand that. Sure. But things that enhance the sim in some way, that should be part of the sim. And that's just my 2 cents. Wow, quite the wind farm here. Resources are in the topic of conversation these days. Resources are coming up. Like, maybe we should do this and ask them for resources, or let's secure these resources and let's secure that, and hey, if you don't work with us, we're gonna cut off your resources and access to this, and the people up north, well, we're gonna cut off these resources, and I don't think we fully understand, and I don't think the rest of the world fully understands all the untapped resources that we have here. There's larger empty spaces that look just like this, if not worse, kind of inhospitable in the United States interior. And that's one of the eye-opening things about Microsoft Flight Simulator. When you start doing a lot of flying around the United States, you realize how much of this, meaning just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles of untouched terrain, that can people really truly say they know all the resources that are there? I don't believe it. I do believe that we have vast resources. It has been fun. What do you say? Okay, radio switch.
Going to 118.
It's been fun reading social media. People that are aware of that, they're few and far between, but occasionally I'll see things like, we don't need your resources. We're just trying to help you out. I mean, when push comes to shove, we don't need it. Maybe that sounds a little bit cavalier, but I tend to believe it. How could there be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles of what looks like perfectly amazing resources all over the place? All right, so the winds seem a little bit calmer, but that could change the more we head east. So we're getting ready to pass a place called Sydney. So we're just skirting Nebraska and Colorado, right on the borderline. Oh man, I want to hear Brad Suck's Borderline so bad right now. It'd be perfect. So I've angled the plane a little bit to try to catch this up here. The yellow, orange dot at about 11 o'clock. That is the site of, as I understand, a cowboy and Indian war. And I'm going to deviate from the flight plan a little bit so we can catch that, see what that area is like. Oh yeah, the winds. What are we dealing with? All right, so they've turned a little bit. We're flying into them at 16 knots or so. A couple thousand feet up, it's in the 30s. 25 to 30 and it was bouncing us around like mad. So I've been doing slow incremental descents, and they finally stopped us coming down at 8,000 feet. I don't know why they won't let us go any lower than this. But there's definitely not anything up ahead at the moment. No fear of running into anything. Oh. Hope you're having a great day. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers. Grab my coffee. It is 13 minutes after the hour on this, fine Tuesday? Tuesday afternoon. And I can report it is just as windy here in Colorado at the moment. I've got some of the windows and doors open, and occasionally you'll hear a roar outside, and all of a sudden the blinds will move like mad. So we're getting some pretty strong gusts here. Similar weather. It's sunny but partly cloudy. How's the weather in your area today? Everything doing all right? Hopefully no tornadoes or extreme weather. Are you flying today? If you're flying, if not, what are you doing? Are you gaming today? What are you doing today? Or what are you going to be doing? Don't hesitate to let me or anybody else know if you're going to be doing any live streaming or any activities that you want to make us aware of. Just put your information and links in the chat room. The only thing I got new is that I've got Manor Lords, and I guess they've done an update where you can build stone castle now, a stone keep, something like that. So I might start doing that soon and get back into Manor Lords. I have beaten it once and I've actually beaten it a couple of times, but now I'm trying to get back to and that's just modifying things just a tiny bit, not making it super easy, but for example, only modifying the wind condition, like the bad guy on hardcore setting, he'll just attack you whenever he wants to attack you or feels like it. And then there's another setting you can tell that the bad guy will only attack you once all of the territories have been claimed. So it like playing Risk, like you establish all the territories first, who controls them, and then you get it on in a big fight at the end. And that's the way I had it set when I beat it. But now I have been recently playing it to where it's pretty much hardcore settings. The guy can attack me anytime he wants, but I've gotten a lot better at mobilizing very fast. So trying to get out in the field as fast as possible, building up enough troops to get out there as fast as possible and take out bandit camps and do whatever, collect some gold as soon as one becomes available. And that's been a big help. It's definitely been a better way to play than, trying to either way take it slower. You got to be really aggressive. Even if your people aren't happy, you got to do what you got to do. I guess there are ways you can play it where you don't even have an enemy and you can just play it like a sim, and I like doing sim stuff, but without the combat. I'd rather be able to beat it all the ways first and then have a little bit of fun, I suppose, creating a large civilization. Christine's playing The Sims 4, and she's having a blast. I guess they've added in a bunch of new business stuff and hobbies, and either way, she's been having a blast with that. Are we there yet? Not really. We're moving slow. No matter where we're at in this flight, at the top of the next hour, I'll probably skip us ahead to the descent. Get as far as we can. $19 minutes after the hour. You know what that means. I've got cargo in the hold, but doing Neofly, it wouldn't actually show you cargo. And so for the smoke break, we didn't have co-pilots either. Well, he looks relatively normal. For the smoke break, I would love to go into the back of the aircraft, turn on the fans back here, the exhaust, and do our smoke break back here. Do some of our best pondering back here. You know, imagining, whoa, what it'd be like to live in this thing. My camera controls are messed up. Either way, we're in the back. There's our exhaust fan. There we are. It's 20 minutes after the hour, so smoke if you got them. If I may be so street, pass. New episode of Daredevil should be out tonight. I can't wait for the Punisher to come back. I can't believe it has taken, they wasted 7 years for it to come back. Because now everybody's, you know, I mean, people age and we can age rather quickly. So We're coming up to a place called Chapel. Billy G. Rayfield. What's up, Billy Ray? What are those? These black marks. I'll need to change our heading to about 45. Ogallala. So today I've been big. Today may have on one area of the planet. Today may have been a big step towards peace, and that's fantastic. In another area of the world, not so much. But on the peace side of stuff, I've got my fingers crossed that it's very hopeful. Today was very hopeful, I think. That's debatable. I mean, everything is, a matter of perspective these days. People choose sides. But for me, if everything that we hear is true, because you can't believe anything these days, they've got us so confused. But if there's a shred of truth to anything that was said today, as far as negotiations and peace, then far out. Big step forward, 2 big thumbs up. Good. Certain declarations made by people on that side of the planet directly about things where things aren't so good right now. 2 thumbs up. And I can't be specific because at least for the majority of these shows, because your ability to be seen by the general public has a lot to do with and to be monetized, everything. It's avoiding controversial subjects. And I am just happy with this being entertaining. Flying around, doing these audio tours. Speaking of, we're going to hit that spot here any second. Sorry I didn't have the camera set up right for the cockpit. But you see we're getting there. So, coming up and, I don't know, judging this. See how far it clips. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, real soon. We're going to be right over this spot here. And, yeah, it looks like it was a place of a battle. So, let me get us turned a tiny bit. And we will anticipate that story. Ooh. You can understand why maybe it was a good staging place for a battle, because everything else in the area is relatively flat. And if you want any sort of advantage, horseback, yada, 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 yeah, kind of being in the Badland area where the terrain is a little bit more, can be make it more difficult. And you actually have changes in elevation, so you can have height advantage, cover, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, just along this swath. This is all, as we're moving forward, everything ahead and out to the, anyway, along this big green strip going out to that lake. This is all part of the Clear Creek State Wildlife Management Area, Lake McConaughey State Recreation Area. And everything now right up here on our wingtip. This is going to be, let's see, well, maybe right in here. This is where this battle took place. Here we go.
The Battle of Ash Hollow, also known as the Battle of Blue Water Creek or the Harney Massacre, was an engagement of the First Sioux War, and fought on September 2nd and 3rd, 1855 between United States Army soldiers under Brigadier General William S. Harney and a band of the Brule Lakota along the Platte River in present-day Garden County, Nebraska. In the 20th century, the town of Llewellyn, Nebraska, was developed here as a railroad stop. The American force won the battle. The Brule women and children they killed made up nearly half the fatalities. Other women and children made up most of the prisoners they took. The Army planned this punitive expedition in retaliation for the Grattan Massacre in August 1854, and for raids by Lakota in its wake.
You just have to judge it for the time frame that it was in. It's so easy to make judgment calls on things that took place in time periods where we just don't understand. We don't understand all the conditions. It's easy to say these people were the good people, these people were the bad people. History has been nothing but conflict. Okay. Let's try to get back on track now. I'm glad we did fly over here, though. They must be happy. In all this dry territory, sudden bam, got the oasis. All right. See if there's anything else over here in this area that we want to check out before we get back on course. No, nothing really. Well, those aren't really heavy winds, but they're really doing a number on us. I think the cargo missions have been my most fun in Neofly and this, because it may be long, but they do allow you to get your cross countries in, and having Bushtalk is really nice too. You can create your you can create your own entries with Bushtalk Radio. So if you live in an area, you know, basically like what we're flying around, and there aren't a whole lot of points of interest, but you're like, dude, they're missing out on this and that and this and that, you can come in here and use this little plus down in the corner, and you can create your own entries and put your own text in, and then that lovely AI will, you know, it'll put a marker out here. Usually only takes about 24 hours for your submissions to get approved and put into. And then by using things like scan new, recent discoveries, or scan, it'll try to find anything that's been new. Okay, so here's Lake McConaughey.
Lake McConaughey is a reservoir on the North Platte River.
Okay.
It is located 9 miles north of Ogallala, Nebraska, United States, near U.S. Highway 26 and Nebraska Highway 61. The reservoir was named for Charles W. McConaughey, a grain merchant and mayor of Holdridge, Nebraska, one of the leading promoters of the project. Although he did not live to see the completion of the project, his leadership and perseverance eventually culminated in a public power and irrigation project that helped Nebraska become one of the nation's leading agricultural states. Lake McConaughey was constructed to store water for irrigation for the Tri-County, later renamed Central Nebraska Public Power and Irrigation District Hydro Irrigation Project.
Nice.
A hydroelectric plant was later added and went online in 1984. The source of water in McConaughey is primarily the North Platte River. Lake McConaughey is also a popular location for fishing, boating, water sports, camping, and hunting.
Very nice. I get excited by stuff like that, because that was Tesla's thing, man. Tesla was really into hydropower. The whole Niagara Falls complex is the power plant projects at the Niagara Falls. All Tesla. It's been sad though, flying around, seeing a lot of the hydro plants they've just fallen into disrepair, and that's just a tragedy. That shouldn't even be allowed to happen in the United States. That you let hydro stuff just fall into disrepair. What else was out here? There was something right next to it. Oh, the dam.
Kingsley Dam is located on the east side of Lake McConaughey in central Keith County, Nebraska, and is the second largest hydraulic fill dam in the world. It was built as part of the New Deal project. The dam is 162 feet tall, 3.1 miles long, and 1,100 feet wide at its base. On the east side of the dam is Lake Ogallala, and on the south side is the Kingsley Hydroelectricity Plant. The Nebraska Game and Parks Commission and Central Nebraska Public Power and Irrigation District are also located in this area. Kingsley Dam, the Kingsley Hydroelectricity Plant, the Morning Glory Spillway, and the Outlet Tower, a large structure near the dam used to release water from the lake, are main visual icons of Lake McConaughey.
I wonder if she's pronouncing it wrong or if it is just like McConaughey. You know, like Matt McConaughey. I don't know. Okay. What do we have in front of us here? O'Fallon's Bluff. So let me turn and go back to heading and just head east. Yep. There we go. And that'll put us on track to hit this here, and then these. Everything else takes us too far off our path. Yeah, and another degree or two. Those gusts are really picking up here locally in Colorado Springs. My mini blinds are flopping around all over the place. "40 minutes after the hour." Yarr. I know he'll never watch one of these shows. Ever. There's a gentleman out there that I follow on social media, Pirate Jack. Here's a yar for Pirate Jack today on a Tuesday. Tuesday's his big day. He's so happy on Tuesdays. You're on X and you find yourself happy on Tuesdays as well, because what's scrolling by, keep an eye. It's probably Pirate Jack, the one that's making you happy. I've got to get back to working on a Dungeons and Dragons campaign, and I've had plenty of weeks to work on it, and I've just been procrastinating and procrastinating. Not that we're in any hurry. We're kind of on a vacation hold anyway. Place where we normally go and hang out with our friends, they're remodeling. So as soon as they're all done with that, we're going to get back to that. That's usually what I do on Saturday nights. Something I've been doing since I've been like 9 years old, on and off. Some people are like, I can't believe you're still playing Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, me too. But it wasn't, we didn't actually start at this time. What it was is we've all had kids now. And they're interested in learning how to play, but they get it, but they don't really get it. They don't really have a whole lot of people that they can play with. So that's how we got back into it this time. It's just the kids want to learn it. So, okay. Got some OGs over here. There's 5 to 6 of us. One's kind of half. But at least 5 of us that have been playing since we were little kids. So it's been kind of a hoot. We've been trying to learn the 5th edition stuff, and they're just getting ready to transition to like another one, like 6th edition, but 5E. I don't know what the hell they're calling it. We're happy to play old school, but we all said, oh, we'll go ahead and try to learn the latest stuff. And it's been pretty fun. Baldur's Gate, it's helped me with Baldur's Gate a lot. And Baldur's Gate has helped me understand 5E a lot better. Some of these fields look like my earliest logos. Okay, so we're getting close to this now. So let's go ahead and run this one. O'Fallon's Bluff.
O'Fallon's Bluff is a 20-mile section of hills located on the south bank of the South Platte River in Lincoln County, Nebraska. Near Sutherland, the bluffs come very close to the river bank, and the early travelers were forced to either travel very close to the bluffs or transverse the bluffs and travel overland. Much of this rugged country has never been farmed, and remains of the Oregon-California Trail are still quite visible. During construction of Interstate 80 through Nebraska, the highway passed the area of O'Fallon's Bluff. A rest area 1 mile south and 7 miles east of Sutherland was constructed. At this location are some of the most clearly defined and preserved segments of the Oregon-California Trail. As hundreds of thousands of people travel 180 east, they have an opportunity to view evidence of the great westward migration of the American people in the 1840s to 1860s.
And many did. Many, here we are today. And then many died of dysentery. Sorry, that's just a bad joke that's a meme for Oregon Trail. You died of dysentery. I never played that game growing up. So we've got a power plant down here.
Bailey Yard is the world's largest railroad classification yard. Personnel there sort, service and repair locomotives and cars headed all across North America. Owned and operated by the Union Pacific Railroad, Bailey Yard is located in North Platte, Nebraska. The yard is named after former Union Pacific President Ed H. Bailey. Bailey Yard is halfway between Denver and Omaha. It covers a total expanse of 2,850 acres and is over 8 miles in length and 2 miles wide at its widest point. The facility's average width is about 1,000 yards wide. The yard has 200 separate tracks totaling 315 miles of track, 985 switches, 766 turnouts, and 17 receiving and 16 departure tracks. Union Pacific employs more than 2,600 people in North Platte, most of whom are responsible for the day-to-day operations of Bailey Yard.
Wow.
An average of 139 trains and over 14,000 railroad cars pass through Bailey Yard every day, and the yard sorts approximately 3,000 cars daily using the yard's 2 humps. The eastbound hump is a 34-foot tall mound and the westbound hump is 20 feet high. These are used to sort 4 cars a minute into one of the 114 bowl tracks, 49 tracks for the westbound trains and 65 for eastbound. The bold tracks are used to form trains headed for destinations across North America, including the east, west and Gulf coasts of the United States, and Canadian and Mexican borders. The yard also includes 3 locomotive fueling and servicing centers called eastbound run-through, westbound run-through, and the service track that handles more than 8,500 locomotives per month, a locomotive repair shop that can repair 750 locomotives monthly, and a car repair facility that handles nearly 50 cars daily. The car repair shop replaces 10,000 pairs of wheels each year. The yard features an in-motion wheel defect detector developed by Union Pacific that uses ultrasound technology to inspect each wheel. It is the only such detector in the world. UP has also developed a method for changing wheels in the field on empty westbound coal trains, which enables 4 workers to use a hydraulic jack under the couplers between 2 cars and exchange the trucks. This has reduced the time needed to replace trucks from up to 12 days to 8 to 12 minutes.
Wow.
Locomotives can be serviced in a NASCAR-like pit stop facility called a run-through, staffed by 5 different crafts, an electrician, machinist, fireman, oiler, and a car inspector.
So badass.
Are serviced in 45 minutes without detaching them from their trains. The cars go through the car department to get fixed and the diesel locomotives go to the diesel shop. Because of the enormous amount of products that pass through Bailey Yard, Union Pacific describes the yard as an economic barometer of America.
That is far out. That made this whole flight worth it. I had no idea anything like that was there. It was cool to find out that another first, that we've got the scanning technology that doesn't exist anywhere in the world to check out the wheels. Also, we can change wheels in NASCAR's fashion now. What a country. I love you guys.
North Platte is a city in and the county seat of Lincoln County, Nebraska, United States. It is located in the west central part of the state, along Interstate 80, at the confluence of the North and South Platte rivers forming the Platte River. The population was 24,733 at the 2010 census. North Platte is a railroad town. Union Pacific Railroad's large Bailey Yard is located within the city. Today, North Platte is served only by freight trains, but during World War II the city was famous for the North Platte Canteen. Tens of thousands of volunteers from North Platte and surrounding towns met the troop trains passing through North Platte, offering coffee, sandwiches and hospitality. North Platte is the principal city of the North Platte Micropolitan Statistical Area, which includes Lincoln, Logan, and McPherson counties.
It's America for you. I'm looking for an airfield. Actually, it's supposed to be over there. Maybe a little too far away to see. My airport identification skills suck. I would appreciate it if around airfields they added a lot more things that are orange. Something that sticks out, you know? Because when it all looks like this, but what? Come on. The hell am I going to find an airport and all that? Put a big orange stripe down the side. Something. It's supposed to be right over there. It's called KLBF. Okay, so we're passing the highway, and then it's off the highway over. Highway goes over. I don't see it. Supposed to be right in here. There? Yep, there. Okay. It feels so stupid. There we are. Ah, this long one here. More orange. And they have, for nighttime flying, they now have electric paint. And so at night, even sometimes, it's hard to identify airports. And when you're taxiing, to me, that's the worst. And maybe it's because of the way my eyes see blue, that I can get really disoriented on taxi at night because it all kind of goes flat to me. I can't really make out where the hell I'm supposed to be sometimes. But yet we have, and have had for a while, the ability, we have this electric paint. Hello, I'm still doing a flight.
I don't know when I leave.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Have you ever seen Tron? And that the way that they used the lighting and the way the lighting is done. I would love to see airports in the future employ the electric paint. So sure, you can have your little blue lights everywhere, but connecting all the blue lights, you know, some blue electrified paint. And so you see a continuous blue strip, and so then you can easily see the channels that you're supposed to be in. Good on you if your eyes see blue right, I guess. Some folks have no problem making their...
Near here was established on the Oregon Trail on the south side of the Platte River in October 1863, on the eve of intensified Indian raids on the plains. Built next to the well-known Cottonwood Springs and McDonald Ranch, it commanded a strategic north-south Indian trail across the Platte Valley. First known as Cantonment McKean and then Fort Cottonwood, the fort in February 1866 was named for Major General James B. McPherson. It served to protect the important Platte Valley line of travel and communication and was the base for innumerable scouting parties and for field campaigns in 1865, 1866 and 1869. General Carr's campaign in 1869 broke the power of the Cheyenne and cleared the surrounding area from more than temporary Indian threats. The Russian Grand Duke Alexis prepared here for his famous buffalo hunt in 1872.
Wow.
General Custer, Buffalo Bill, the North Brothers and their Pawnee Scouts were often at the fort. The fort was abandoned in 1880, but a portion of the military reservation is now the Fort McPherson National Cemetery, where rest soldiers from McPherson and other frontier forts, as well as those who served in more recent wars.
Wow. So, if I heard that right, a Russian leader, a czar, what the hell, came here for a buffalo hunt. Where's the full text?
The fort near here was established on the Oregon Trail on the south side of the Platte River in October 1863, on the eve of intensified Indian raids on the plains. Built next to the well-known Cottonwood Springs and McDonald Ranch, it commanded a strategic north-south Indian trail across the Platte Valley. First known as Cantonment McKean and then Fort Cottonwood, the fort in February 1866 was named for Major General James B. McPherson. It served to protect the important Platte Valley line of travel and communication and was the base for innumerable scouting parties and for field campaigns in 1865, 1866 and 1869. General Carr's campaign in 1869 broke the power of the Cheyenne and cleared the surrounding area from more than temporary Indian threats. The Russian Grand Duke Alexis prepared here for his famous buffalo hunt in 1872. General Custer, Buffalo Bill, the North Brothers and their Pawnee scouts were often at the fort. The fort was abandoned in 1880, but a portion of the military reservation is now...
All right. Unfortunately, this is where I have to now move us ahead. That's as far as we can get on this cargo run before I've got to move it to the descent. That was Christine on the phone. She says hi. But I've got to take care of some stuff for her about this time every day. Let me start thinking about it. Okay. Okay, the autopilot's not on. Pardon me.
Minneapolis Center Kin, Lima Sierra Alpha 9er is passing 4,100 feet, climbing 8,000 feet. Kin Lima Sierra Alpha 9er Minneapolis Center altimeter 29er. For 6 radar contact, continue to SUBD.
A 15 to 16 knot gusting wind.
Sierra Alpha 9er, you are 9 miles northwest.
And kind of across.
Expect RNAV runway 14 approach via TESUB transition. Clear to TESUB. Descend and maintain 3,100 feet. Expect RNAV runway 14 approach via TESUB transition. Cleared to TESUB Kin, Lima Sierra Alpha 9er.
$17 knots. Yeah, these gusts are a trip. Let me pull the separator out and get the lights on.
Kin Lima Sierra Alpha 9er, you are 8 miles northwest of Kilo Echo Foxtrot Whiskey.
right?
Kin Lima Sierra Alpha Niner.
They always want to talk to you and keep talking to you right at this stage. And it's like, couldn't we have done this like 10 miles ago? The moment when you have to think about everything. That wind's now starting to grab a hold of us. It's lessening, but we're slowing down. There we go, a little bit more power in. Well, I gotta be very careful. I've been having some poor landings. Okay, so my reverser works. Oh, and that just went full flaps? I don't need full. How about there? On. Damn it. That's the kind of crap landings I've been having. I'm not flaring enough or I'm flaring too much, you know, and it's becoming a habit I'm not enjoying. Well, the reverser worked like a charm. And I didn't catch that that red flag we got on landing. Maybe hit too hard or not sure what it was. So welcome to Iowa. Our key is not working.
Whiskey Yankee 1 traffic, Kin, Lima Sierra Alpha 9er, is taxiing to parking.
Glad we've arrived.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it's Kyrie, the reception officer. No major damage, hopefully, but it tells me the flight wasn't easy. I'll let you study your flight stats while we unload everything.
And there we have it. So that was nice. We actually had some nice things to look at today and to think about today as we traveled around doing this cargo mission. Thank you, Bushtalk Radio. Cool hydro plant. That railroad yard. What a trip. And then those battles. Wild. Wild, wild. Respect the condition of the aircraft. 0. Really? Ah, well. They're so frugal with the reputation. They'll take a whole chunk away from you. But getting it, you really need to get supers every time. At this level, I should have like 15 magic missiles per round. That'd be awesome. Should have some armor. Okay, well, that's going to do it for today. I will see you tomorrow, hopefully earlier. It's been, it's a crazy world right now. So, play it by ear. Oh, no. Was that on the whole time? You didn't even see the landing or any of that? It's probably for the best. Everything was going good right until then. Ah, that's typical. Everything was going great in the show until I forget at the last minute. The auto scene switcher, well, it's kind of a pain in the butt. Sometimes when it works great, it's great. But even that can be a pain in the butt. It switches over to easy, yada, yada, yada. But I'm really sorry about that. It's always something. Well, I will see you tomorrow.